New Jersey siblings gather to bury father, horrified to see what's protruding from grave. A grieving New Jersey family gathered around their loved one's grave when a horrible surprise appeared on top of the casket before they laid the man to rest. Now, the family is demanding answers from the cemetery regarding the disgusting situation that you have to see to believe, but luckily, they have the photos to prove it. Siblings Alonzo and Sandra Butler arranged to memorialize their father, Cleveland Butler, at Mount Holiness Memorial Park in New Jersey after he died of a stroke in his nursing home. They set out to bury him at the same cemetery where their mother and grandparents are buried but quickly second-guessed their decision when a decaying foot of a corpse from an adjoining grave appeared on top of their father's casket as they were laying him to rest. The grieving family was devastated all over again, seeing the rotten foot upon their father's beautiful blue casket. A relative snapped a picture of the limb, wrapped in plastic with the toes sticking in the flowers laid upon the casket. This was a very traumatizing situation, first dealing with losing my father and then this, Sandra told the New York Daily News. Family members were even more shocked when cemetery workers were completely unfazed by the disgusting foot as they continued on with the funeral, entirely ignoring the rotten limb. Relatives also told New York Daily News that one worker even accidentally dropped his phone and a pack of cigarettes into the open grave, having to fish it out with a rake. What this family had to witness in the middle of their grief over the loss of their loved one was horrendous. To make matters worse, Mount Holiness Memorial Park did not try to investigate the dangling foot, who it belonged to, or why it was protruding from the ground, forcing the Butler family to pursue legal action. Mount Holiness owner, James Schmergel, tried to shrug off the mishap as no big deal, thinking the grieving family was overreacting and making the situation overblown. The owner even tried to bring up the excuse that the body could possibly be dated all the way back to 1969, as if that makes a bit of difference to those who had to see such a sight while burying their loved one. Schmergel must have forgotten his business thrives on those who want to respect their deceased loved ones, so he should be a bit more careful when neglecting people's feelings at such vulnerable times. While people are grieving, the last thing you should be doing is starting arguments and disregarding a troubling situation. That dangling, rotten limb belonged to someone's loved one, and the cemetery shrugged off the mistake so easily. It brings up the question whether the family of the person whose decayed foot was seen was made aware that their deceased loved one was buried so carelessly and no longer appropriately in their resting place, not to mention the legalities that may be involved, since I'm pretty sure the foot and the body attached to it should be in a casket. Perhaps if the authorities begin to investigate, Mount Holiness will be more cautious when throwing bodies in the cold, hard ground next time. Please share the story and tell us what you think by clicking one of the buttons below. We want to hear your voice.